Weakness is a choice. Be relentless. Write 1,000 words script. The script should be in following format. 1. It should have strong hook. 2. The hook should contain 5. The script should be proper fopmasted, having high emotional touch with my viewers. 6. The script should resonate and reflect young entrepreneurs, young adults who wants motivation in their life, people who are willing to go high in their life. You keep saying you want success. You talk about your goals like they're oxygen. But let me ask you something real. Why are you still living like comfort is your best friend? Because here's the truth that you're avoiding. Comfort is not a reward. It's a trap. It doesn't protect you. It poisons you. And the longer you stay in it, the more it rots everything great inside you. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they're addicted to comfort. Because struggle is scary. Because growth is uncomfortable. Because facing your potential means facing your demons. And most people would rather hide under the blanket of average than fight their way into greatness. But here's what they don't tell you. Comfort has a cost, and it's the most expensive thing you'll ever pay for. It costs you your dreams. It costs you your self-respect. It cost you the life you could have lived, had you just gotten up and fought for it. The silent death of potential. Think of the people you've known, maybe even in your own family, the ones who used to dream big, who had talent, who had drive. Now they wake up, go to a job they hate, come home, eat, sleep, repeat. They don't even recognize themselves anymore. They didn't choose failure outright. They just chose comfort. Over and over again, until they became someone they swore they'd never be. That's how the potential dies, not with an explosion, but with a quiet surrender. Comfort kills. Urgency. You say you'll start tomorrow. You say, I need to be ready. You wait for the right time. But while you're waiting, someone else is building. Let me say this loud and clear. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. And the people who are winning, they're not more gifted. They're just more committed. They didn't wait to feel ready. They built themselves in chaos. They didn't wait for a path. They carved one with their own damn hands. Your brain is lying to you. Your mind wants to keep you safe. It wants predictability, rest, survival. But you weren't born just to survive. You were born to conquer, to evolve, to stretch, to fight, to create, to become something greater than you were yesterday. So when your brain tells you, take it easy, you have to train yourself to respond with, not today. You can't make history while living in hibernation. The truth about pain and progress. Listen closely. Every inch of growth is wrapped in discomfort. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. If you're not scared, you're not stretching. If you're not tired, you're not pushing hard enough. The gym hurts, but it builds strength. Waking up early is hard, but it builds discipline. Showing up when you're exhausted is painful, but it builds character. Everything you want lives on the other side of pain. Everything. There was a guy, let's call him Adil. Adil had talent. He could have been great. He talked about his dreams every day. Said he was going to start a business. Said he was going to be a millionaire. Said he just needed a little more time. But every time life gave him a choice between comfort and challenge, he chose comfort. He stayed in the job he hated. He stayed in the relationship that drained him. He He stayed in the mindset that told him maybe next year. And now, years later, he's still planning, still talking, still dreaming. But deep down, he knows the opportunity is gone, not because life took it away, but because he never left his comfort zone to chase it. Pain is temporary. Regret is forever. You can either feel pain now by waking up early, staying disciplined, doing what others won't, or you can feel regret later when you look back and realize you wasted your fire. There's no escaping pain. The only question is, do you want the pain of growth or the pain of guilt? Because one of them will shape your future, the other will haunt it. Change starts with one decision. You don't have to become a different person overnight. You don't have to have it all figured out. But you do have to make a decision right now. Are you going to keep choosing comfort and die slowly? Or are you going to step into the fire and become someone the world can't ignore? Stop waiting. Stop wishing. Start bleeding. Start building. Because no one remembers the person who stayed safe. They remember the one who risked everything to rise. Comfort didn't get you here. Discomfort did. So, if you want to rise higher, get uncomfortable and stay there. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that never dies. You feel pumped right now, don't you? Your blood is boiling. Your mind is racing. You feel like you can do anything. But let me ask you this. What happens tomorrow morning when that fire fades? What happens when you wake up and don't feel like doing anything? What happens when life punches you in the gut and motivation walks out the door? I'll tell you what happens. Most people stop. Most people quit. Most people disappear. Because they were never built on discipline. They were built on dopamine. They chased the high. They wanted the glory. But they didn't want the grind. The lie of motivation. Motivation is sexy. It makes you feel alive. But it's also a lie. Because motivation is emotional. And emotions are temporary. One bad day, one heartbreak, one failure, and it's gone. And then what? You go back to zero. You give up on your dreams because you don't feel like it. That's weakness. And weakness is a choice. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. Discipline doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Discipline doesn't negotiate with laziness. Discipline is cold, it's hard, it's relentless, but it's the only thing that guarantees results. You think champions wake up every day feeling fired up? You think millionaires never feel tired? You think warriors never have doubts? They do, every day, but they don't obey their feelings. They obey their standards. And that's the difference between talkers and winners. Talkers wait for motivation. Winners create habits that work when motivation dies. You want to change your life? Start with your daily routine. Because motivation might get you to the gym once, but discipline gets you there every day, even when it rains. Motivation might get you to write a page, but discipline finishes the book. Motivation might make you post once, but discipline builds the brand, builds the audience, builds the empire. Every successful person you admire, they didn't feel like it either. They just did it anyway. Discipline builds self-respect. You know what really breaks people? Shame, guilt, self-hate. Not because they failed, but because they knew what they should have done and didn't. Every time you hit snooze, every time you skip the gym, every time you run back to comfort, you're silently teaching yourself, I'm not strong enough. I can't keep promises to myself. I'm not worth the effort. But every time you show up when it's hard, every time you push through, every time you finish the task even when you're drained, you're telling yourself, I'm not average, I'm unstoppable. And that builds something far more powerful than confidence. It builds self-respect. And self-respect is the real fuel of relentless people. The 4 a.m. runner. Let me tell you about someone you've probably never heard of. He wasn't famous. He wasn't rich. He didn't have followers. But every day, for 6 years, he woke up at 4 a.m., ran 5 miles, came home, wrote, studied, worked. No one clapped. No one cared. He didn't post a single picture. He wasn't chasing likes. He was chasing discipline. Today, he owns 2 companies, trains future athletes, and still wakes up at 4 a.m. Not because he has to, but because he refuses to lose the mindset that built him. You see, success wasn't an event for him. It was a ritual. And that's what you need to build. Not hype, not noise. A ritual. A system. A standard. Make it non-negotiable. The secret to winning in life. Treat the hard things like brushing your teeth. Non-negotiable. No matter how tired, no matter how late, no matter how you feel, you train, you study, you show up. Because your goals aren't hobbies, they're your future. Stop worshiping your emotions. Let's get real. You're not too tired. You just haven't trained your mind. You're not too busy. You're just not disciplined with your time. You're not burned out. You're just not aligned with a purpose worth fighting for. Discipline rewires all of that. Because once it's built, it becomes your autopilot. You won't need to convince yourself anymore. You'll just do it because it's who you are now. Daily discipline. Checklist. Here's a simple start. Not for motivation, but for discipline. Wake up early, even when you don't want to. Train your body. It trains your mind. Control your screen time. Own your focus. Set 3 non-negotiable tasks daily. Complete them no matter what. Journal at night. Track your truth. Be honest with yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Because slow, disciplined action over time always wins. When motivation dies, discipline keeps you alive. When the world sleeps, discipline keeps working. When your dreams are blurry, discipline sharpens the vision. Don't rely on a feeling. Rely on a standard. Because those who wait for motivation wait forever. Pain doesn't mean you're broken. Pain means you're becoming something stronger. You want the truth. Every great story starts with pain. Every legend you admire, they didn't start from comfort. They started from brokenness, from rejection, from failure, from doubt. Because pain doesn't destroy the chosen ones. It activates them. The lie society sold you. We live in a world that runs from pain. That medicates discomfort. That teaches you. If it hurts, stop. If it's hard, quit. If it's uncomfortable, it's not meant for you. But that's not how warriors are built. That's how cowards are created. Because the moment you start avoiding pain, you start avoiding growth. Pain is the proof you're alive. The pain of rejection, it means you tried. The pain of loneliness, it means you're not fake. The pain of failure, it means you had the guts to leap. Pain is proof that you're in the arena, that you're still swinging, that you haven't given up. So many people numb their pain with distractions, with scrolling, with food, with parties, with lies. But warriors, they lean into the pain, they sit with it, learn from it, and they turn it into power. Pain is the price of power. There is no strength without struggle. There is no growth without discomfort. There is no success without sacrifice. If your path is painless, your future will be powerless. That's why the greats never avoid pain. They embrace it. They train in it. They evolve through it. You think David Goggins got to where he is by being soft? You think Elon Musk built empires without setbacks that almost crushed him? They didn't just survive pain. They used it. And so can you. Reprogram your mind. Pain. Progress. Stop saying, "Why me? It's too hard. I can't handle this." Start saying, "This is my test. This pain is building me. This is the weight I need to carry to become unbreakable." When you lift weights, your muscles tear. That pain, that's necessary damage, because it's how you grow. It's the same with life. Emotional pain, mental pain, spiritual pain. They're all resistance, and resistance creates strength. Your pain is not a punishment, it's preparation. From rock bottom to relentless. Let me tell you about Zara. Zara was broke, abandoned, betrayed by the people she trusted. She had every reason to give up, to stay down, to quit. But instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" she asked, "What is this trying to teach me?" And every day, with tears in her eyes, she wrote, worked, hustled. She didn't wait to feel better. She used her brokenness as fuel. Today, she mentors thousands, owns 3 businesses, and says, "The pain that almost ended me became the fire that created me." There's no growth without exposure. You want to be great, you have to be exposed. Exposed to failure, exposed to criticism, exposed to your fears. Because greatness isn't built behind walls, it's built in the battlefield. And pain, that's your signal that you're in the fight. If it hurts, good. You're alive. You're growing. You're moving forward. Pain opens the door to self-mastery. There's a version of you you've never met. Stronger, wiser, calmer, unstoppable. But that version, it's on the other side of pain. And most people never meet that version because they run the other way. But not you. You're here because you're ready to bleed, to crawl through fire, to get up even when your knees shake, because you don't want average, you want everything. And to get everything, you must endure something. Final words of this chapter. Stop seeing pain as punishment. Start seeing it as your initiation. You're not broken. You're being rebuilt into something stronger. Let it hurt. Let it burn. Let it break you open, so the real you can rise. Your excuses are killing your potential. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your dreams. Let's get straight to it. You say you want success. You say you want to be rich, powerful, respected, fulfilled. But then you say, "I'm too tired. I don't have time. I didn't have the right guidance. My parents didn't support me. I'm not lucky like them." Stop. Just stop. Because every time you open your mouth with an excuse, you're burying your potential deeper underground. Excuses are the chains of the weak. Excuses are easy. They're seductive. They give you a reason to stay the same, but they also give you a life you don't want, a life of regret, a life of mediocrity, a life where you keep wondering, what if I tried harder? What if I stopped blaming the world? What if I held myself to a higher standard? Nobody cares about your excuses. Brutal truth. Nobody cares. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to carry you to your dreams. Nobody's going to cry with you when you fail. Because life doesn't reward victims. It rewards those who take responsibility. So, if you're still blaming the government, blaming your past, blaming your teacher, your boss, your ex, your childhood, you're giving your power away. And when you give your power away, you kill your potential. Responsibility is the weapon of the elite. Want to know what separates winners from losers? It's not talent. It's not background. It's not intelligence. It's ownership. Winners say, "It's on me. I messed up. I'll fix it." No excuses, just execution. They don't run from failure. They don't cry about how unfair the world is. They adapt. They adjust. They dominate. Your excuses are lying to you. Here's the truth. You do have time. You're just wasting it. You do have energy. You're just undisciplined. You can learn. You're just lazy. You can change. You're just scared. That voice in your head telling you it's too late, that you're not ready, that you need more information. That's not truth. That's fear in disguise. Excuses are fear wearing a mask. Fear doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, "Let's wait a little longer. You're not like them. What if you fail?" But if you listen to that voice, you'll be 60 years old, still explaining why you could have been something. Is that what you want? Turn excuses into execution. Take every excuse and flip it. I don't have time. I'll wake up earlier. I'm tired. That means I'm working. I don't know how. Then I'll learn. It's hard. Exactly why it's worth it. I failed before. That means I have experience now. It's not about never having an excuse. It's about never letting the excuse control your life. Real story. From excuses to empire. Meet Adil. Grew up poor. Dropped out of college. No contacts. Couldn't even afford Wi-Fi. But he made a decision. No more excuses. He started freelancing from borrowed phones. Learned business strategy on YouTube. Worked nights while delivering food in the day. Today, he runs a media agency that serves clients globally. He's 26. Because when he killed his excuses, his potential came alive. Accountability is your superpower. Say this with me. If it fails, it's on me. If I lose, it's on me. If I succeed, it's because I refused to blame anyone else. That's power. That's what makes you unstoppable. Not comfort, not privilege, but radical self-ownership. Excuses are lies you tell yourself so you can feel better while staying the same. Accountability is truth, and truth will set you free. You can either stay comfortable, or you can grow. You can either make excuses, or you can make it happen. But you can't do both. Chapter 5. Become addicted to the process. Champions aren't obsessed with the outcome. They're addicted to the process. Let's make something clear. If you only work when you feel like it, if you only show up when it's convenient, If you only grind when the mood is right, you will never win. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who are obsessed with the process. The ones who wake up and work, regardless of how they feel. The process is the only thing you control. You can't control outcomes. You can't control luck. You can't control timing. But you can control how hard you work. You can control what time you wake up. You can control how often you practice. You can control how many hours you study. The process is your kingdom, and the throne belongs to those who show up every single day. Fall in love with repetition. You know why most people fail? Because they get bored. They want excitement. They want fireworks. But success is boring. Success is doing the same thing day after day after day, without skipping. It's showing up when nobody is watching. It's doing the reps when there's no applause. It's mastering the basics until they become your DNA. Boredom breaks the weak, but it sharpens the strong. Discipline is a habit, not a mood. Discipline isn't about being motivated. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a choice. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel like grinding. But the great ones, they show up anyway. Because they're not emotional about the process. They're married to it. The process is the path to mastery. You want greatness. You want to be elite. Then you must respect the process. The early mornings, the late nights, the quiet sacrifices nobody claps for. Because greatness isn't one big decision. It's 1,000 small decisions made every single day. Wake up early. Train your mind. Learn every day. Improve your craft. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Your dreams are hidden in the daily grind. Everyone wants the dream lifestyle, but they don't want the daily grind it takes to get there. They want to shine, but they don't want to suffer. But here's the truth. The shine only comes after the suffering. The spotlight only finds you after you've mastered the dark. If you want to live like a king, you've got to train like a savage. The relentless routine. There's a guy named Rohan. He wasn't the smartest, didn't come from money, wasn't naturally gifted. But he had one thing most people don't, an obsession with the process. He set a schedule, followed it for 2 years without skipping. He tracked every hour, every meal, every rep. He didn't chase followers, fame, or fortune. He chased consistency. Today, he owns multiple businesses, mentors hundreds, and is invited to speak across the globe. Not because he was lucky, but because he was addicted to the grind. Rewire your mind. Fall in love with the work. Start asking yourself, did I win today? Did I give my full focus? Did I keep the promises I made to myself? Not, did I get likes? Did someone praise me? Did I go viral? That stuff doesn't build empires. Focus on becoming a machine, a system, a relentless force of nature. Forget the finish line. Focus on the next step. Success isn't one giant leap. It's millions of tiny steps. You don't climb Everest in one jump. You climb it one painful step at a time. So stop obsessing over the mountaintop and start mastering the next step. One more page, one more workout, one more pitch, one more late night. Because when you win today and stack that win tomorrow, you become unbeatable. Don't chase the reward, chase the routine. Don't obsess over the results. Become obsessed with the reps. Don't aim to impress others. Aim to discipline yourself. Because one day, the results will show, the wins will stack, the world will notice. But you'll keep grinding like no one's watching. Because you weren't in love with the results. You were in love with the work. Weakness is a choice. Be relentless. So here we are. After every truth bomb, every uncomfortable fact, every line meant to wake something violent and powerful inside you. If you're still here, if your heart is beating faster, if your mind is screaming, let's go, then you already know you were never weak. You were just not awake yet. Now you are. No more excuses. No more blame. No more waiting for the right time. From this moment forward, you are no longer a spectator. You are a fighter, a builder, a beast, a relentless force on a mission to become unstoppable. Let the world sleep on you. Let the noise distract others. But you build, you bleed, you grow, because you know weakness is a choice, pain is fuel, discipline is freedom, and success is inevitable. If you're relentless enough, if this message shook your soul, then don't let it end here. Hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning. Like the video if it sparked a fire inside you. Comment below, I choose strength. Let the world know where you stand. Share this with someone who needs to wake up and rise. This is your time. This is your era. And this is your reminder. Weakness is a choice, but greatness is earned. So earn it. Be relentless. See you at the top.